This is the mind of a young racer the day before his first race. These are the things he thinks about and what he imagines the race will be like. He knows it's the second most damaging sport in the world to the human body and wonders if he'll be able to survive its brutal effects. But that was yesterday. Today he will mount his $1,000 machine and race down the starting chute along with 30 other riders to test his ability to be a racer or not to be a racer. Many people don't believe that motocross is the second most damaging sport in the world to the human body, but throughout the course of this film, I think you'll be able to draw your own conclusion. In the meantime, at the track, he tries to get an idea of what the pressure will be like. He thinks of the things that could go wrong and what could happen. He tries to get an idea of the pressure by racing other riders in practice. Again, he tries to think of other things besides the race and its misfortunes, but they still haunt him. He thinks of his girlfriend and himself, but all the time he knows the start is getting closer.
Take a look at these international riders weaving their way among this large crowd on hand to watch this event.
And it was a large crowd watching the Trans AMA. Here we are taking a look at one of the pros.
What a traffic jam into turn one, and that's Andy Robertson of England, a surprise leader right off the bat. Robertson has not been particularly successful in this series, but he's out in front right away. And that's quite a surprise to a large crowd. Robertson of England, the leader, into turn one as they head down the backside of the course. Traffic really piling up. Actually, wait a minute, up above on the course, that's Aki Janssen down. He's gone down, and now trying to get his bike started. He's turning around the entire field, circling around the leader. What a surprise this is. And finally, Aki Janssen gets his bike turned around, and here he goes. In first into the pack. He's clear back in 21st spot, 27 seconds behind the leader, who is Robertson of England at this point. And what a terrible blow for Aki Janssen. He tries to cinch this Trans-Am Series. 6 wins in a row. And there you see him all alone, trailing the entire field. And he's got a giant, monumental pitch-up job to do. And I don't know whether he can make it. This is an awful long ways to go from behind. Few, if any, riders in the world can make up this distance on an international field. Meanwhile, up to the front of the back. Robertson in front and right behind him now comes Ike McCullough of Finland. McCullough has now moved into second. He trailed Aki Janssen in the series. Over the jump go the riders. They look propelled out of cannon, flying through the air amid the large crowd. It's still Robertson in front, riding very well.
Every racer has his problems, but praying over his bike? But racing's not for everybody. Those people that do race are supposed to be in better physical condition than the average person. With the help of a kidney belt, $65 leather, $60 boots, and a lot of guts for most, and some luck. Here's what they mean by luck. If you happen to have a patent, you need all the luck in the world, especially when it gives you a neutral when you wanted a second. It's kind of a grab bag gearbox. Sometimes you get the gear you wanted, sometimes you don't. There are a lot of good riders, though. There's guys like Michael Simmons, Chuck Acorn, and Tom Peterson riding for Lowe's and Bellevue. But racing's not all you do. When there's not a race on, you practice. Here's Jim Paulson, newly rider to the 250cc class at Puyallup with his brother.
unbelievable European sidecars for the first time ever in the United States, and a giant crowd of you out loving it. 4 sidecars traveling all the way over from Europe to take part here in the Rainier International Motocross Championships, and what a display they're putting on. A steady into precision as they go over the jump. They call the passenger a monkey, and what a beating he takes.
Here we are again at Startup Race Course in Startup, Washington. This will be Jim Paulson's first race. Jim was doing all right most of the day, except for those occasional mishaps. Here Jim finds out what getting off means. One of those haunting thoughts that came true, and they came true most of the day for Jim in its first race. Here's Jim with his own pit crew. It's called the Family Pit Crew. In motocross, you find all kinds of guys. In this case, you find the guy that's out for the Sunday ride. Then there's guys like Mike Simmons making a show out of another rider's nightmare. Nightmare? I think you can safely say it's a nightmare to some guys. And then it's back down the chute, doing it all over again with 30 other guys. However, not all the fun and excitement happens at the track or on Sunday. It happens all week long at the cycle shops, home for those freaky motorcycle freaks.